Alright, well, it's been a hot minute, but I'm going to try and get in here and pull this coil out and see if I can drive these center laminates out. I've got a replacement one coming. I should be here in a couple of days, but I need to get this out ahead of time. I'm also going to get my torque wrench and just confirm torque on these head bolts. I've got it set to 16 foot-pounds, just cheap Harbor Freight, but that Craftsman just didn't click right. It just was so light, and I'm just going to go around and just make sure everything is indeed torqued. Alright, I want you to watch this. I'm on to number 9 now, and that damn near a sixth of a turn out of all of those. And I've got this set to 16. I knew that Craftsman didn't feel right. So that may have been part of why we were having low compression. You know, not enough to explain 25 psi lost, but enough to explain some of that. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do 2 more passes and just confirm that everything is right. And as you can see right there, got her at it shows 16 and a half now, but that handle likes to move. Well, we got this off, and it came off without too much fight. There's just 2 of these clips on either side. You just stick a screwdriver in like that and go pop, comes right off. So we got 2 of these, and then there's this 11/32 nut right here holding this ground wire on, or I guess that's the positive. This is the one that's going to the points and condenser, and then you got this one right here which connects down on this little flathead screw to, I guess, completes the circuit to this magnet here on the shaft. And then there's this little spring clip right there. I don't know if there's supposed to be 2 of them, but there was just one that's halfway eaten away on this side. And there's the coil. And spark plug wire just goes through that little channel right there. Comes right out. And gotta pull these this laminated doohickey out of here. That's gonna be fun, because it is tarred in place. So we'll fucking make an attempt. Alright, so my initial strategy with this son of a gun is I've just sprayed the hell out of it with penetrating oil, because I'm just doing that as a, just so I feel good. And then I'm going to take this soft piece of pine wood, and I've got the grain lined up with these 2 little prongs up here, and I'm just going to set it down like that, tap it home until it starts to go into the grain, and then we're just going to whap on this and see if it moves at all. And hopefully that won't bugger anything up. And I've just got this perched. It's not tight. It's just sitting there under its own gravity. And that's just sitting in here. And that should hopefully allow this to push off. And with any luck, we'll get this out of here without too much fight. But I expect plenty of fight. Alright, so we tried that. That didn't really work, so I pulled it off, and I took the razor blade and I peeled the edges up around it, all the way around. Then we tried this again. Didn't work. And I think it's just because there's too much rubber and tar in there, and it was just acting like a shock absorber. So now what I've got is the vise pinching on this larger part of the coil, while I've got this rubber fitting on the other side of the vise on one jaw. And I'm just slowly turning this, and as you can see, it's slowly coming out. We'll just do this slowly so we don't bend anything. But that's how we're gonna get it. And not quite sure how I'm going to get it all the way through once I get it, the majority. But we'll figure that out here shortly. But it's getting easier, so I think it should be alright. And just like that, we got it. So hopefully I haven't munged this up. It's a little bent on that ear. Oh, they're both like that. Alright. That's really just a bunch of laminated pieces of metal, so it's, there's nothing special about it. But those don't come with the new $20 Chinese coils. So we'll clean that up, and then when the new one gets here, we'll jam that right in the middle of it and see if we got life. And with a razor blade and a brass brush, she came around pretty good. After I started scraping all that tar off, though, I don't know if you can see that, but right there, she's starting to delaminate just a wee bit on the edges. She's starting to bow out like that, and I think that's just from rust getting in and creating pitting in between the leaves, as well as the heat cycling and just being held together by the tar this whole time. And then I just sprayed it down with oil and scraped all the tar off, so now it's kind of starting to pull apart. It's nothing to worry about. At least I'm not going to worry about it. And we'll just set this aside and till the new coil comes in. Yep, got that all cleaned up. Now I'm going to work on cleaning all this garbage out of the flywheel. There. That flywheel is all spick and span. Not a speck of dirt on it. And there's all the pile of crap that I just knocked off. I was working on these set screws in here. I just, put some penetrating oil and then some thread cutting oil on them, and got the Allen head socket in here and just backed these all the way out. Just took them straight out, just because I wanted to. They really fought the last like 8 or so threads. And Dad's had this gear puller in the toolbox for forever, and I've never had an opportunity to use it, thankfully. I've never had a need to use it, thankfully. But now I have an opportunity to use it, and so I figured 10 o'clock on a Sunday is probably the best time for me to, try and rip this son of a bitch off. And we're going to see if I break something. Alright, so had that over there on the crank bolt, and she really does not want to come off. I can get it, maybe a quarter of a turn taut, and then it just starts tightening this crank bolt, which I do not want to do without the flywheel on there. So I don't want it ruining threads. And yeah, so she's just gonna not come off. Plus I need that to tighten the crank bolt anyway. I mean, it's on there with the D thing, so I mean, even if it's loose, it should be fine. But it just doesn't want to come off. So I might come in here and whap on it. Maybe get the slide hammer on and see what the hell we can do. But gear puller ain't working tonight. Well, got the new coil in, and as you can see, it's pretty damn near the same as this. That's good to see. And I'm just gonna have to slide this bad boy right on through here. This is the orientation it's gonna go in, and I can already tell this is gonna be a struggle because it's tight, and I was expecting that. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna slather up the inside of this and the tip of this with some dielectric grease, and then just hope it goes in with only a mild amount of encouragement. And then we got this little spark plug doohickey to go on top of it, and I'm not entirely sure how well that's going to work because there's like no wire in there, but hopefully that little stabby guy goes where it's supposed to. And if not, we'll just shave back on that a little bit and wrap it up with some solder or something. So I'm gonna get to it and see if I break shit. And there we are. It only took a moderate amount of persuasion. I had to beat this down onto this while clamping it in the vise with this and this. And then once I got it down to the point where this was sticking out the top, I then had to get this socket and set that on top, and then put this on top of the socket and then beat on that with this until I got this far enough that I could then put it all the way in the vise with the vise outstretched like so, and then squeeze on it until it got right to dead center. And we've got the alignment perfect, I think, and hopefully I didn't break the coil. I mean, it's literally just a bunch of wire windings, so hopefully, not really much to go wrong there. I don't really know what went wrong there, but whatever. So hopefully I didn't break it, but it was $20, so if it's still broken, then we'll just Easter egg everything else until we realize it's this thing. But there's no way I'm going to get another one of these in here without, having to do the same thing, so I think it's fine. And we're just going to slap this bad boy on there, and we'll do that guy after we install the wire, because I don't know if it'll clear this hole. And like that. is all lined up. I just gotta remember to put that guy back on, and then we'll put the clips. And then we'll have to do this nut, and then hook this guy up to this screw. Thread this through yonder. Stick the spark plug cap on it. And get the flywheel back on and try it again. Alright, there it is. Installed. Spark plug doohickey on there. No idea if that's actually making proper contact, but the other one's broken, so we're not using that. And I'm going to put the flywheel on, make sure that tolerance is, and we're going to put the spark plug tester on it and see if this does something. Alright, boys and girls, I'm going to say that was the problem, because if my drill doesn't decide it's going to break here, we have spark now, and I think I broke my drill, but luckily I have a backup. So, we're going to try and run this son of a bitch again, because I think it was spark. That's good news. Let's hope that's the end of this saga. Gas valve is open. Crank rope's back on. We're going to give it a yank, and we're going to see if it cheeches. And I'm getting real sick of this little fucking engine. First two pulls, it fired. And it turned with more torque than I've ever seen it do. And now I have absolutely nothing. And I put the spark plug tester back on it, and I can't really tell for sure, but I think I fucking lost spark again. Oh boy, if it's that fucking coil, I am furious. I don't know what, there's something fucking wrong with the damn condenser or something. It's shorting fucking coils. I don't know how the fuck that happens. I mean, it can't be that. There's no backflow. All the fucking power is coming from the damn coil. Got fuel out the goddamn ears. I'm obviously making compression because my fucking back hurts and I'm sweating like a fucking stuck pig. But it's something ignition related, and that is the only problem. It is not compression. You've gotta be fucking kidding me. Well, it looks like the ignition coil burned itself up fucking immediately. Either that or it shorted some out in the shorted the condenser or some shit. I have no fucking idea what the hell's going on or what the hell I'm doing. But we're gonna go leave a fucking 0-star review and try and figure some shit out. So we got the flywheel off again. We've got the ignition coil off again. I've got the points of condenser opened up. We've got the condenser out. I'm attempting to properly set the points. I just took this screw out of the center of the points, and this washer that was on it was broken in half, so we're going to use this little brass guy right here and hope that works. Well, strawed steel, brass colored, and we're going to slap that bad boy on here and then attempt to properly set the points this time to 20 thou. I had it at like 22 thou or something before it was close enough, but just to be safe, we're going to get that perfect. And then we're going to get the voltmeter, test on the ignition coil and the condenser, see if either of them is internally shorted. I'm hoping it's the condenser and not this brand new ignition coil, but can't tell yet. You'll see. Alright, so we got 19 and 20. We'll do 19 first. And as you can see, just slides on in. Just a little bit of resistance. And the 20 goes right on in with a good bit of resistance, but it still slides in without much force, and it stays in place, but you can just slide it right out. So it's probably closer to 19, but we're going to call that good. You know, it's probably a little bit corroded, so having them a little closer might be better. Also, it's wonky trying to set these. You have to loosen this center bolt, and then you have to turn this eccentric screw in order to move this insulated piece in order to shift this whole center section further away from this arm, which is, you know, operating off of a cam lobe. And then once you get that perfectly set, then you tighten this, and then it shifts everything like that. So you have to set it and then tighten everything and then check it, and I've got it as close as I can get it, so that's what we're going to run with. Alright, we got the capacitor hooked up, and we're going to test this with the multimeter. In order to test a capacitor, or aka a condenser, you set your multimeter to the highest ohm setting you got. Mine's automatic, so I've just got it on ohms. You hook the black lead up to the body of the capacitor, or the negative end, however it's set up. Then you take the red lead and you touch it to the positive on the capacitor. Forgot the word there. And what you're looking for is you want to see a low number relative. It's going to be, in the case of this thing, it's in millions of ohms, and it's going to steadily rise until it goes to infinity. And if I test this guy, which I have to do very quickly and precisely, see there, goes from 6, climbs to 25 million ohms, which is the max for my multimeter. And if you hook this up in reverse, it'll do the opposite. It'll start at infinity and then it'll go down steadily to, I think I got this one down to 6 million ohms. So condenser's fine. So now we're going to go over to testing the ignition coil. And in order to test this guy, you're going to want to take your black lead, hook it up to the body of the coil, or in my case, these windings. I'm just going to hook it up to both, just to be double extra safe, like that. And as you can see, infinite ohms. And then you're going to take your spark plug wire and try not to ground it out on anything. And you're going to want to touch the boot. Alright, third hand time. And I'm going to tap the positive lead to the boot. And as you can see, we're getting absolutely nothing. You should be seeing somewhere in the like 2 to 20 kilo ohm rating. Depends on the type of ignition coil. There's no published values for this type of coil, so we're just looking for something in the 2 to 20k range, and we're getting nothing, which would normally tell you that the coil is bad. But remember how I said I didn't like the way this boot looked like, and I had like a little like vampiric tap on it, which is how it connected to the wire? Well, when you bend that back a little bit, so when you jam your positive lead in there and you touch the wire itself, oh, look at that, we're getting 10 kilo ohms. So the coil's still good. It's just this little tiny thing on the end of the boot is not making contact with the wire, and that's the whole problem. So we're going to take this back off, pull it apart, and we're gonna probably flay back, a centimeter or an inch, and solder that directly to the side of this fucking thing. And then this son of a bitch should work, I hope. Please, Jesus. And yeah, so I'm gonna put the condenser back in. The points are now set properly, and we're gonna fix that wire and put all this back together and see if we got some cheechage. Well, I went to pull the thing off, and that's probably fucking why it didn't run. The damn little parasitic tap flattened itself out the second I crimped it on. So that's annoying. So yeah, I'm just going to cut about an inch of this off, and then we're going to put that back on, and then I'm going to take the extra inch that I have, and I'm going to wrap it around this housing and then solder it in place. And hopefully the solder will stick to that zinc galvanized steel. And that should be a million times better. They don't cut you much slack on the wire there. There's only like 7 strands in it. It's like 14 gauge or something. It's just all insulation. So, don't know how I'm gonna strip that when 10 gauge is the biggest that'll do. Yeah, but we'll make an attempt. And, alright, there we are. I haven't soldered it yet, but I just jammed it through the bottom of the parasitic hole, made sure the vampiric tap seated home, snugged everything up, and I had that wire jammed through that hole, and I just bent it around, and I'm going to solder that on there, but just to show that it is working, here we got that hooked up, and that hooked up, and I give her a tap, boom, 10 kilo ohms. So she's working perfectly, and I hope that was it. Well, that's what's the opposite of pretty? Ugly is all fucking sin? That's what that is, but it's got continuity, so we're just gonna run with it. Yeah, my little soldering gun can't get that can't get that much metal hot enough, so it started melting the insulation before I could, solder it. Plus, I'm trying to solder, I think, nickel-plated copper to zinc-plated steel. So yeah, everything was fucked. But yeah, it's an attempt. I'm gonna get everything back together now, and I think I'm gonna haul it outside for the grand anticlimactic "it won't start again." Yeah, alright, there she is with the cover back on. You can tell how much false confidence I have that this is gonna work. But if it does actually run, I don't want to accidentally get my feet caught in the flywheel, so I put that back on. It's also kind of symbolic, because if this son of a bitch doesn't run now, I'm probably just gonna, stick it in a corner of the garage and forget about it for a couple of months, and then come back to it. But I think it'll do it. So without any further ado, it's time for a first start in, Lord, probably 40 years, if not more. Alright, let's see if something happens. I don't think she's going to start. I don't know what it is at this point. I heard maybe compression. Well, as you saw, still not getting spark. So, also, if you were listening closely, I got like a quarter cough on that first power stroke, the first pull I did, and then it went dead after that. I have a hard time imagining that the coil died. So, I'm thinking it's either the points or the condenser. The condenser checked out, so I'm going to start with the points. My thought with the points is maybe the insulating cardstock spacers inside of there. Maybe it's shorting out internally. Maybe something in there is worn out, or maybe it's just got too much crud on it, and I wasn't really able to file on it. So we're going to start with the points, and if the points don't work, we're going to get a condenser, because it could be that the condenser is, showing signs that it's working, but it's not working 100%. It's not making the voltage it needs to spark. Thrice now I've tried to start this engine, and it has, on the first pull, done something, and then got steadily worse until it stopped working at all. It worked for a good while the first time, and this last time I got 2 pulls worth of life out of it, and this time I got 1 pull out of it. So something else in the system is dying, and that sounds like a condenser to me, but the condenser does check out, so I don't really know what to do. It'd be easier to just buy both at the same time and do both simultaneously, we'll see. I just don't want to spend any more money on this fucking thing.